Hi, everybody. Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill coming to you from the KGW television building. I'm not in the studio, so I'll say building here in downtown Portland. A couple of headlines on this Friday. I'll take you through the weekend. And yes, we still expect here on the right the big high pressure ridge to come in and the dry weather with the 70-degree temperature on Monday and up into the 70s Tuesday of next week. And probably still warm Wednesday when we transition back into some rain. More on that coming up. In the middle, been a rainy morning. So far, it's been mostly light, but I'm putting this down in the 8 o'clock hour and just starting to see on radar some heavier rain pockets start to emerge. So this is going to be a really wet Friday. More on that coming up. And when this mainly steady rain starts to break up and we transition into really what will be a much, much drier weekend, that's coming up. And then this caught my attention, warmer than I expected up on Mount Hood. This is this morning at 7:38. It was 36 degrees at government camp, and clearly that's wet. A little bit of melted slush on the roadway. But here's the catch: if you're traveling over the Cascades on this Friday, um, Santiam and Willamette Pass show good conditions too. Temperatures aren't going to cool off. Snow levels are 4,000 to higher. It's not sticking at government camp. And although I'm assuming that is mainly snow in the air, it's just wet pavement. So that makes things a little bit more easy to travel. The Weather Service has an advisory up into tomorrow morning, but they may lift that because I think past temperatures are warmer than certainly a lot of forecasters expected them to be. So easier travel up over the high country today than opposed to yesterday when we had the winter storm warning. At least in the morning, everything was just snow-packed. Okay, all of this brought to you by the Momentous Wealth podcast. You can select from a library of investment topics meant to educate you, especially on retirement planning, that type of thing, what to look for in the stock market. Listen on Apple Podcasts, listen on Spotify, brought to you by local firm Momentous Wealth Management, licensed in Oregon and Washington. I use them. I highly endorse all of the sponsors associated with my weather network, be it on, whoa, what I just do? I think I just did something I didn't want to do. Ha ha. Let's get it back. Let's get it back. Okay. Again, I was saying I highly endorse the sponsors that I have on my weather site, my YouTube channel, et cetera, et cetera. So let's get you going. I do want to touch on Mount Hood for starters, because again, much warmer up there. Even Timberline's at 30, Meadows is 35. So skiers and boarders encountering a little bit of wetness at the base level. Now, there is still heavy snow expected today. Few inches of snow at pass level where it may be difficult for the snow to stick, period, to as much as 10 inches that fall up through 5,000 and 6,000 feet on the mountain today, with the moisture rates getting heavier and heavier as we go through the day. The weekend, not much, nothing to 3 inches of scattered snow shower activity on Saturday. Rain on Sunday, primarily, as the snow level goes up to 5 and 6,000 feet on Sunday. That's the day with that warm front. And then all dry. I think government camp probably in the 60s on Tuesday. More on that dry weather coming up. Here's the verification that Santiam Pass is clean. Willamette Pass also bare pavement. 84 out into the blues, bare pavement. Siskiyou Summit's wet, and 30 down into California. Again, you can check out all of this on my Mount Hood weather forecast page on my weather site, portlandweather.com, brought to you by Hillcrest Ski and Board Shop. And they get into some summer sports too. They have a big space there in Gresham on Burnside. You can rent stuff, you can buy apparel, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, here's a satellite picture. What's going on? Notice the merge, or the flow, I should say, the flow of moisture that's pushing into us. What's going on today is there's a cold front. It's coming inland this morning, but it takes all day to work itself across our region. So the rain just keeps coming, and the rain kind of channels along the front. And we have heftier rain amounts picking up in terms of precip rates later this morning going into this afternoon. Now, eventually, all of this works through, and it looks like the steady rain breaks into showers this evening. Not much rain for the weekend. And this next batch of moisture back here is actually, for our purposes, a warm front that mainly pushes north up around us and opens the door for that warm 70-degree weather to start next week. This shows you lightning flashes real quick. Notice some of the flashes. Right there was the lightning strike right there. Some lightning offshore. We should be stabilizing increasingly so as we go through the day. I'm not expecting stormy weather today, but I am expecting some convection with heavier rain rates to take hold. I want to touch on the wind, and then we'll get to the rain. So yesterday it was a real consistent breeze, south 10 to 20, some gusts to 30. A similar setup on this Friday. Here's this morning at what would be 11 o'clock this morning. Kind of south wind gust to 20 or so at the coast, south winds to 20 or so in the valley. Again, just noticeable winds, not alarming. Notice how once we get into tomorrow morning, here's tomorrow morning, the wind here on the west side of Oregon and Washington, gone. Really a pretty light wind pattern all day tomorrow. And then we go into Sunday. See the blue? This is increasing south winds with that warm front that's coming in. So here is Sunday getting into the afternoon hours. Not anything alarming, but a noticeable south breeze to 20 plus along the coast. Perhaps getting into a noticeable breeze that might get up to 20 in the valley, but not as breezy as it is outside today. And then we go into next week with the warm weather on Monday and Tuesday and the dry weather and really no wind to speak of. Okay, what about precip? This is the American GFS model. This is their future radar product. So this shows you what's the rain this morning. It's been pretty steady here on the west side. See the yellow? Here's heavier rain picking up going into the 10, 11 o'clock hour this morning. Here's steady and moderate rain, pretty good rain clip early this afternoon. And then here it is going into this evening. This is as early as the 5 o'clock hour. See the back edge? This is the rain breaking up, going into early evening into more of a scattered shower pattern. And then this is a day Saturday. Here's Saturday at 5 p.m. Just doesn't show much of anything. Scattered shower threat tomorrow, but not much rain. And then we go into Sunday. Here's the warm front. This is rain north of the warm front, which is really positioning itself more offshore of us than anything. But this does show eventually some rain coming in. This is late morning Sunday. Rainier weather in Washington, generally speaking, drier weather as you drop to the south, including you folks in southern Oregon. And then I think this push of rain with the warm front will get out of here by Monday. So how much we talking? So here's the American GFS model. Remember, we're talking steady rain much of the day today through 5 p.m. We're talking about moderate to pretty good rain rates from about 10 this morning through at least 4 p.m. So that's going to rack up some rain totals. Models love about an inch at the coast. This shows almost an inch and a quarter in Tillamook. Models love at least a half of an inch to maybe nearing an inch of rain up and down I-5. This model is a little bit wetter than the one I showed on KGW TV this morning, but it shows about 38/100ths of an inch up around Seattle today. But then you get 9/10 in Portland, over an inch out in parts of Yamhill County, wine country, an inch of rain down into Eugene. And then notice how the rain just falls apart. 15/100ths down in Douglas County, and then even less than a tenth of an inch rain by the time you get down into Medford. So, and then once we get past today, there's just not much rain out there, not much to look at. This is the European AI model, artificial intelligence model. We're going to start using these because this is the next wave of forecast modeling coming to the world, if you will. All right. So this is how much rain falls today. This is even wetter than the model I just showed you. The model I just showed you had about 9/10 in Portland. This shows 1.21. So we'll see. The last time I showed you this model, it way over projected rain totals, but it did correctly show that it was not going to be a windy day. Remember 2 days back, I think it was, the Weather Service had a wind warning along the South Oregon coast. And I said most of the models were not supporting that, especially this artificial intelligence model. Well, in fact, the winds never really got above 25 miles per hour that day. So the modeling, especially the AI model, was right. However, starting to see an early trend that the AI model is over projecting precip amounts. I think what's reasonable to assume in Portland, Salem, and Vancouver today is at least a half of an inch of rain, a good chance of 3/4, and maybe we get a little bit more than that. We'll see. All right, let's talk flow pattern. So here is this afternoon. This is the European regular model, if you will. This is this afternoon at 5 p.m. So here's the cold trough. But notice the polar jet. Remember I said the snow levels are up. They're above 4,000 feet today, or at least at 4,000 feet. Here's the polar jet to our north. So there you go. Usually I tie the polar jet to a 2,000-foot snow level, but clearly that colder air has lifted to our north. And as we get into the weekend, not much rain Saturday. This shows some weak ridging. This is actually a warm front coming in Sunday with that ongoing chance of some light rain. But here is the ridge with the high pressure building right here off the coast and into California. This is going into Monday. All dry. Look at the ridge axis, knifing northward, if you will, all the way up into Canada, up into BC. The upper level ridge anchor down over Las Vegas. This is Monday afternoon. This is Tuesday, which still looks to be the warmer of the 2 days. And then still warm on Wednesday, but here's the next trough coming in. This is 5 o'clock Wednesday. 5 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. Dry and warm Monday. Dry and warm Tuesday. Warm Wednesday, but eventually rain develops at some point in the afternoon. And this is a south wind flow with a warm air mass. So if you just look at the trajectory of this flow pattern, and one of you messaged me on this, and yes, I think this far out, you have to assume there's a good chance of some thunderstorm activity with this rain and this front coming in the back half of Wednesday. This will be the 26th of March into Wednesday evening. And then this cold low does settle and drop temperatures and snow levels and brings us likely rain going into Thursday of next week. Here's the American GFS model, and I will start this on Wednesday of next week. Now, notice this trough in the low offshore Wednesday of next week, not as pronounced, not as well defined, not as strong as what the European model is showing. And based on that alone, you would think the chance of any thunderstorms developing Wednesday of next week, not as great. Oh, hold on. Gosh, I hate it when I do that. I thought I bookmarked this. I thought I bookmarked it and I had that showing 2 days ago. I really apologize. This is Wednesday, the 26th. Here we go. Here is the same low. I was thinking, I thought that looked the same as European, and it does. It's a little bit offshore. So if this is correct, maybe Wednesday afternoon is dry and the rain would come in Wednesday evening. That's the only difference really between the American and the GFS models Wednesday of next week. Both models will show a thunderstorm threat. Both models show cooler weather with rain at times all the way into the first day of April, which is right here. And then some warmer weather. Here's another weather system coming in on Friday the 4th. Here's some drying going on April 6th, 7th. Another weather system coming in Monday the 7th. Notice the polar jet is to our north. I mean, it's getting later in the season. You would not expect the polar jet to come this far south very often, and the models are saying it doesn't. Again, the polar jet's this blue contour. Here's Wednesday, April 9th, okay? And there's some more ridging taking place. This is warm. That's a 570, 71 height, so that could be up into the 70s easily on Friday, April 11th with some dry sunshine. So what I'm seeing through the middle part of April now is kind of a mix of some multi-day runs of warm 60s, 70s, really nice spring weather, and then some storms that come through with snow levels closer to 4,000 feet than say 2,000 feet. And again, that would be typical. Models are trending now for April to be a month that is pretty close to normal in terms of temperature averages, with probably near normal rainfall too. But we'll see. That's the latest trend on what's going on in the month of April. Okay, let's go around the horn. Today, 53, some rain down in Southern Oregon, but not much. Saturday, rain at times, 55 degrees. Sunday dry, Monday dry, Tuesday dry. Then there's that front. Look at Medford on Tuesday. That's the warmest day, 81 degrees. Wow. Okay. Over in Central Oregon, pretty warm, 52 today. Some moisture, mainly rain. Dry weekend, 52 and 59 Sunday. There's the warm up. There's 68 Monday. There's 73 on Tuesday. And this will be late day or overnight rain chances picking up in Central Oregon. Okay, out in Pendleton, 50. This is misspelled. Again, this is an auto feed from NOAA. I don't have any control over it. Sorry. Um, Pendleton, nice weekend. 54 Saturday, some rain on Sunday potentially, but you could stay dry. It's in that 50-50 category. And there's the warm up on Sunday, dry, 74, Tuesday, dry. Okay. All right. Up in Seattle, what we got? Seattle, very rainy up there today, and a decent chance of some showers tomorrow. And then the rain chance on Sunday, remember, much better up in Washington than Oregon. So if you're going up there this weekend or you live up in Tacoma, I know one of you watched from Tacoma, you folks have a really good chance of seeing some significant rain on Sunday. This actually leads that chance of rain into Monday and doesn't show the dry period that we're going to get here to the south. So that bears watching. Okay. All right. Salem, capital of Oregon. Shower chance Saturday, some light rain Sunday. There's the warm up, 72 on Tuesday. Okay. Eugene's going to be about the same. Monday, 69, Tuesday, 70. Chance of some scattered showers Saturday, not much. Some light rain at times on Sunday. Okay. North Bend, what do you got? Temperatures warming up. How about this? Monday, 64 along the South Oregon coast. Tuesday, 65. There's those two nice days really showing up. And here's Portland's 7 day courtesy of Hazeldale Tire Pros in Clark County off of the I-5 side. 53, pretty steady temperature today. Again, a half of an inch of rain to maybe 3/4 or more. Some decent rain rates. It breaks into scattered showers by early evening. Not much rain around tomorrow. A shower chance, but far more dry than wet on Saturday. A decent day, 56. Sunday, light rain at times, but also some dry time. I believe it's kind of a mix. We'll see. 59. And then the two dry days, 70 Monday, 76 Tuesday. Still 73 on Wednesday, potentially, with clouds increasing and then showers coming in either late afternoon or evening. Remember, one of the models showed maybe we're dry until evening. Another one brought increasing scattered shower chances into the afternoon hours. And there could be some thunderstorms and then back into the 50s with rain and showers around on Thursday. Okay, that is your update. I probably won't talk to you until Sunday, and then we'll really be getting into the nuts and bolts of these two warm days coming up on Monday and Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, please do so. It helps me. You'll be notified when I post. I'll talk to you soon.